First off, and I would like to congratulate Nick Sirianni. I know. I'm going to congratulate Nick Sirianni, the head football coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick, now I know you watch faithfully. And, actually, Merrill Reese, who's on later on today at 4:30, actually did one of his hits with us from Nick's office, if you remember correctly. And so I was watching the press conference today, his little scrum, and he was like, we've learned a lot from the last two previous games. It's, something that we looked at, we studied, we looked at the Super Bowl, we looked at the 21 game. Obviously, we've looked at all the opponents. Pretty much every single thing. There were people in here yesterday going, those games don't matter. Well, Sirianni thinks it matters. You're welcome, Nick. Big Sil's breaking it down for you. And strategically showing you, in a way, what they did in the 21 game, what they did in the Super Bowl just 9 months ago. Okay? Yes. The Eagles at the NovaCare Center are faithful viewers of your show. Congratulations. Tone will join us for the segment each and every single Monday through Friday at 3:30. As mentioned, Merrill Reese, the legendary voice of the Eagles, with a big one on Monday night, will jump aboard with us at 4:30. It's funny. I was listening a little bit to Sports Take with Tone and Rob, and they were talking about, Nick Sirianni. So you know what I did? I kind of expanded it. What do you think Nick Sirianni's worth is to the Eagles? What's his value? Here, let me give and put it in context. Belichick makes $20 million. Sean Payton makes 18. Pete Carroll makes 15. You want to know who your coaches of the year are and your best coaches in the NFL? What does Big Sills always tell you? Follow the money. Sean McVay, $14 million. Mike Tomlin, $12.5 million. Andy Reid, he's underpaid, $12 million. John Harbaugh, $12 million. Kyle Shanahan, $10 million. Mike Vrabel, $9.5 million. Doug Peterson, $8.5 million. Nick Sirianni's making $6.5 million. You want me to put that in context for you? Billy Napier at Florida makes 7.3, and he's the 12th highest paid coach in college football. Kyle Whittingham is 25th and makes the same money that Nick Sirianni makes. There's about 17 college coaches that make more than him. What's his value to you? What's his value to the Eagles? What do you think his value is? If you were going to put a number on it, knowing the way the Eagles fire coaches or move off them, you keep talking to me about a record. Hey, you want to hear something that's even more preposterous? Andy Reid makes the same money that Dabo Swinney, Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, Mel Tucker, who was just fired at Michigan State, and Lincoln Riley make, just to show you how out of whack it is. And that when somebody says, hey, you want to be a college head football coach? Don't just say no, because the money's on that side of the aisle too. And you get better payouts. What's Nick worth? You think the Eagles would pay this guy $15 million? No, not in a million years. You know why? That team's not built around Nick. That team's built around Howie. That's Howie's team. So what do you pay your coach? 32-12. And Billy Napier makes more money at Florida. About 18 college coaches make more than Nick Sirianni does. Hey, dude, pats on the back. Don't pay the bills. Your paycheck is who you are, not your record. It's not. Your paycheck is who you are. Let's get that right. He's 32-12. Yeah, and he's one of the lower paid guys in the league and in the country. What's he worth to the Eagles? What would you pay him, knowing that Howie runs the – because if you pay him more than Howie, doesn't he have more say in the team? If you pay Nick Sirianni more than the GM, doesn't he have more say? He'll never make more than him. That's not how this is set up. No, wait a minute. No. Steve, I'm trying to make a point to you about the worth and getting credit in who he is. You're not paying him more money than Howie Roseman, because with wealth comes more power. That means more say. That means more latitude. You're not going to pay your head coach more than the guy who makes all the decisions in the building. 32-12, whatever it is, means what to the Eagles when it comes to Nick Sirianni? It's funny, they haven't even addressed the fact of giving him a contract extension. You don't really believe they're going to pay him more, do you? And give him more say in the team? He has no say in the personnel. He has little say when it comes to the coaches being hired. But when you pay a coach more money, Bill Belichick, Sean Payton, Pete Carroll, Sean McVay, all have complete, total say in those organizations. That's why they're the highest paid guys. 2018, 15, 14. What is he worth to the Eagles? Just off the top of my head here, I thought about that. And I keep hearing people say, Nick needs more. Okay, what would you pay him? Would you pay him more than Mike Tomlin? What was Reed getting paid with the Eagles? I guarantee you he wasn't getting paid $12 million. Now, obviously, salaries escalate. Standard of living escalates. In 1994 or in 2004, $6-7 million is the equivalent of probably around $12-13 million. So do they double his pay and pay him 12? Probably. We don't need another Chip Kelly fiasco. Sirianni needs more time and experience. Would you pay Nick Sirianni $20 million to be your coach? You think the Eagles would pay $20 million for Nick and make him the highest paid? Supposedly, he's got the best record. I hear people on our channel and around the city of Philly talking about how he's one of the best coaches in the NFL. If that's the case, pay him. Or don't pay him. We'll know immediately how they think of him. Okay? After doing some digging, Howie makes an estimated $1.3 million. That number's way off. He makes, is that between 1 and 3? Is that what I saw, Tone? Estimated between 1 and 3 million. That's because, quite frankly, when you're looking at for Howie, that contract, he's not a coach. And you got to remember something about Belichick, Peyton, and Pete Carroll. Those guys have probably complete control of their organization, where Nick doesn't. That's why Nick is never going to get that kind of money, because they kind of split it here a little bit. Interesting how they do that. I wonder if Howie's, because again, I wonder if Howie's one of the highest paid GMs. I didn't say, no, Bruce, I didn't say don't pay him. I never said that. I said, what are you paying him? What are you going to pay a guy who has no say in the team's building? What do you pay a coach to that? I want to know what you think his value is. Because again, pats on the back, great records. That's wonderful. And I mean it. He gets to the dinner table because of what he's doing. What are you going to pay him? Are you going to pay him more than Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay? Are you going to pay him $15, $20 million? What's he do? He's not a play caller. He doesn't pick the talent. He doesn't hire the coaches. He's a great clubhouse. Here, I'll give you exactly. Wait a minute. $8 million? Bruce, you're going to pay him $8 million and only give him a $2 million bonus if he puts that team back in the Super Bowl again? You might want to up that a couple more million. Hey, it's one thing to be the head coach of the Eagles. It's another thing to get hijacked. I think you got to kick that thing up a bit here. I'm actually going to fight for the guy. Believe it or not, I'm not going to not want to. I never said don't pay him. I said, how much do you want to pay him? Okay? I got it, Dirty. How much you going to pay him? He doesn't have a lot of say in the building of the team. I'm not saying he doesn't have influence. He does. Completely. But the decisions that are being made structurally, scheme-wise, when free agents are being signed and how he's bringing guys in, you think Nick's bringing them guys in? The coaches work him out. How he brings them in. Would you pay him between 10 and 11? That puts him down near Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan's a play caller. Nick's not. What's he worth? Now remember something. You fired two guys who went to Super Bowls. And Andy Reid and Doug Peterson. So you got to put this into context. They believe they can replace Nick at any time. Quite frankly, so do I. Because they have. What's crazy is that Jeffrey Lurie has never had a head football coach since he's owned the team with a losing record. Since Andy Reid, you've never had a coach with a losing record. That is unbelievable. And you fired Andy, Chip, and Doug. You fired all three of them guys. To sit here and say that guy's not expendable at any time is nuts. What do you pay him? The highest paid GM is Belichick at 7.5. Now get this. He's $7.5 million, Howie. Or Nick, Bill. But Bill makes 20 combined. Bill Belichick makes $20 million a year. So John Lynch, 5. Snead is 5.5. John Schneider, Seattle is 4.5. Jesus, man. When Howie Roseman's contract up and his contract is up, he'll be one of the hottest general managers in pro football. Guys, who was the general manager of the Red Sox and the Cubs? What was that kid's name? What was that guy's name? That was the general manager of the Cubs, and Nick Caserio makes $6 million. Hey, Nick Caserio is living up to that money, man. Get this. Patriots, that's the Patriots executive that was picking the talent when Bill was up there, and he was with Bill. He took over for Scott Pioli. You want to know why Houston is trending up and New England's trending down? Nick Caserio. Dale Epstein. Thank you very much, Mike. Dale Epstein. They're going to make statues of Theo Epstein. Why? He won a World Series in Boston, and then he turned around and won a World Series in Chicago with the Cubs. They're going to build statues of that guy. Howie Roseman. Hey, when's Howie's contract up, too? Wow. You talk about signing players. When Howie Roseman's contract up, and then you got to determine how much and what value Nick Sirianni is to you. When's that contract up for Howie? Through 23? He just signed an extension in 23? I thought it was last year that he signed that contract extension. I thought it was last year. So he signed a 3-year contract extension. So in 26, that thing is up. Jesus Christ, he's one of the most underpaid guys in the National Football League, and he's considered one of the best, which leads me to believe this. They're very cheap at paying their GM and very cheap at paying their head coach. Jesus, man. Jeffrey Lurie doesn't pay his people. Runs through 25. Howie Roseman's deal's up in 25, and he's one of the middle of the pack, highest paid GMs. I wouldn't stay in Philly for $3 million when other guys are making that kind of money. Caserio's making $6 million. You got Lynch making $5 million, Les Snead's making $5.5 million, John Snyder's $4.5 million. I'm not staying in Philly for that. Now, do I think they'll up it? Of course they will. They get to the Super Bowl, they may do it in the offseason. Okay? They're not. I agree. Hey, Josh, I agree. I do not believe it either. I didn't even really factor in the Howie conversation. This wasn't even really going to be a topic here. This was I heard something and I was like, what's the value of Nick? Big Seals, you make it sound like Howie is a dictator. No. They have always run their organization like that, even under Joe Banner. It's not a dictator. He's a better GM today. He listens to people more. He totally does. I'm not saying he runs that thing hard. Look, to me, it looks like it's a lot of fun to go to work in Philadelphia. You're taking it wrong, man. And you give no saying to the coach. I think he has input. Steve, what guy did he hire? Nick Sirianni. Name me one coach he hired. All those coaches. And again, let's go back to the Super Bowl. He said when he got hired, he had to introduce himself to 80% of the coaching staff. Honestly, what guy did he hire? Does the coaches pay count to the salary cap? That I don't know. That's a great question. If not, who cares how much a coach gets paid? Wow. So you don't mind then if you go to work and you got a guy making less money and losing more games than you, and he makes more money than you. You're okay with that? This is professional sports. This guy likes to be paid here with pats on the back. This is an ego-driven sport, dude. That's from the GM to the coach to the quarterback to the defensive tackle to the 53rd guy on the roster. Everybody gives a shit how much everyone makes. There's a reason the NFLPA passes out lists of how much players make and where you are in that landscape when your contract is up. Hey, that's okay. I don't care what he makes. Yeah, you do. So you think a guy with a lesser resume should make more than Howie Roseman? Really? Guarantee you Howie Roseman's agent doesn't think that. These people have agents. I'll ask you one more time, then we'll move on. How much is Nick Sirianni worth to the organization? Right now, again, like I said, I can name you 10 coaches in college football that make more money than him. Saban, Sweeney, Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, Mel Tucker, who just got canned, Lincoln Riley, Brian Kelly, Jimbo Fisher, who just got let go, 9.1. Mark Stoops of Kentucky makes $9.1 million. Lane Kiffin, 9.5. These are college guys. How much is he worth? Eagles tend to hire guys that don't have equity so they can have more control over the rest of the staff. Totally true. That's why Andy Reid, when he was hired, you remember what he was? He wasn't the offensive coordinator in Green Bay. He was a quarterback coach. Mike Holmgren was the play caller. Okay? Mike Holmgren. Right? Doug was like what? A clipboard holder in Kansas City. Right? Shit, you know the guy who had the most equity that you guys have hired in the last 25 years? Chip Kelly. Because Chip could have called it, he could have called his putt. Jeffrey Lurie era. The Eagles have never hired a head coach with previous NFL head coaching experience. It's how they do business. That's why they keep numbers down. You're never going to see him make a ton of money. I wouldn't be shocked they put him into 12 range, though. But I think he's got to win it to be in the 12 range. Because if not, they'll put him around 9, Vrabel. Mike Vrabel makes 9.5. They'll put him around in there. They'll up his pay a little, like $3 million. But they ain't going to put him up top. Because he doesn't have any equity in the team when it comes to making decisions on building the roster. Okay? Chip Kelly's trash. Chip Kelly got paid like a king. And then he held you for ransom. Absolutely. You know what he left you? A smoothie bar. How's that for you? Chip Kelly stole your money and left you a smoothie bar. And the Eagles go like this. Well, we ain't having that again. I got to tell you something else. That smoothie bar has to be the most expensive smoothie bar in all the kingdom. Hey, he left us a smoothie bar. Yeah, $12.5 a year? I'm sure. That guy left you a smoothie bar that's the most expensive thing on a stick. A 3-cent smoothie bar now is a $12 million item at NovaCare. Every time Howie and Jeffrey Lurie pick up that smoothie bar, I guarantee you, not a chance in hell, Jeffrey Lurie eats that smoothie bar. No way. I would gag on that. I would gag on that thing, man. Knowing the money I paid that guy to get the hell out of town and what he did, I would gag on that thing. Are you saying Vrabel has control over the Titans roster? I sure am. They got the GM fired, didn't he? After A.J. Brown got blown out, what happened to the GM? And that guy was a good GM. After A.J. Brown left the Titans, what happened? After the Titans lost to the Eagles, GM. Who do you think did that? The missus that owns the Titans? Okay. Sills, where's your boy Chip Kelly now? Making the same money Nick Sirianni makes at UCLA. What, you think he took a pay cut? He didn't take a pay cut. He makes the same money right now that your boy makes coaching the Eagles. Tone's right. I ain't going to pay that guy a lot of money. I would. You know why? I like calm waters. I like smooth sailing. I don't like choppy waters. Reason to upset the boat. You know? You can always fire these guys. I don't like upsetting anything. By the way, I'm not suggesting you don't pay him. I just asked you how much you think he's worth. Okay? You were right. Coaches typically never outlast GMs. The fact that Vrabel is still there, the other guy is not, means he has more equity with the ownership. Of course. GM, bye. See ya. You made a shitty move? Mike Vrabel wouldn't have got it paid for that. By the way, Mike Vrabel was sitting in the owner's box 3 weeks ago in New England. He ain't going anywhere. That's your next head football coach of the Patriots, is Mike Vrabel. All right, let's move on here. I thought it's interesting because you guys, what's the number you think they're going to pay him? He's making 6.5 now. What do you think they pay him for his 32 and whatever record? Look at Keon. Keon still doesn't get it because he thinks this is all about football. You think they're firing Josh Allen? They just gave him a contract that would destroy the salary cap. Who do you think has more? Who do you think would be around? A coach, a GM, or a $55 million quarterback? That you have cap money and guaranteed money lied into. Who has more power, do you think, in Cincinnati right now? Joe Burrow or the GM? This is a money business. That's what Tone's right. The Eagles don't hire experienced coaches, from coordinators to head coaches. You never do. You hire those guys as consultants. And when the contracts get too big, guess what happens? You Doug Peterson. Nick Sirianni has 2 bad years. They'll fire him. Like they did Doug. He has 2 mediocre years. Hurts gets hurt. Something goes sideways. Talent, bad luck. You guys were coming off a Super Bowl win where you guys were all drunk, hanging off of poles down on Broad Street. There's nobody in here that ever imagined 24 months later, Doug Peterson would be fired. Nobody. Shit, I didn't believe it. Nobody. Nick's safe. The least safest job in Philadelphia sports is the head coaching job of the Philadelphia Eagles. So when you talk to me about how great a coach is, you think Brian Dable's job is safe in New York now? Matt Nagy won the NFL Coach of the Year award, was fired 2 years later. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl. 2 years later, he was fired. Something that your city hadn't seen since 1960. You think NFL head coaching jobs are safe? My God. You keep throwing Nick's record around and you don't win that Super Bowl this year, they'll start asking the question, does Jalen have the right coach like they are in Buffalo with Sean McDermott? You put up a marvelous record this year and you don't close the deal, you're going to start talking about Andy Reid Philly, aren't you? So when you start talking about how great Nick is, think about how replaceable every coach has been since 2000 in your building. They've all won. I hate to be the guy to bring this up to you like that. But all the people that rave and do this, hey, it's wonderful. Every one of those coaches got fired, had good records too. As a matter of fact, like I said, I can't think of another organization who has had 4 coaches with winning records with no NFL experience as a head coach. I can't think of one organization outside of Pittsburgh where a coach has had a winning record, all 4 of them. Reed, Kelly, Peterson, and now Nick. That's 4, right? Since 2000? Right? 3 Super Bowl appearances, 3 NFC championships, 3 coaches with 3 different. Hey, do you really think that the Philadelphia Eagle management looks at the head coach and goes like this? We won 3 NFC championships with 3 different dudes, that they can't replace that guy? It's one thing if you had Don Shula, or it's another thing if you had Bill Belichick. And the reason I say that, have the Dolphins done anything since Don Shula left? And what did the Patriots do previous to Belichick? Those guys are those dynasties. That wasn't a franchise like Pittsburgh. And quite frankly, neither were the Eagles until Jeffrey Lurie showed up. He's the only common denominator in Philadelphia since 2000 has been the owner. You've had a couple GMs. You've had 4 head coaches. So when you keep telling me the importance of Nick, really, do you think that the organization takes more credit in hiring Nick than Nick's results? Do you not get that? And that's why he's paid the way he is. Now, I think they're going to up him. I do. But I'm trying to put a level head on your hat here to make you understand that organization values the head coach because it's their pick to run the team. But they value their decision-making more than Nick's results because that's their guy. Just like when Howie drafts a draft choice. Okay? I mean, don't you see how he runs things? Does Howie Roseman put more value on drafting players than on when he trades for a guy or UDFAs? Of course he does. Why wouldn't he do it with the coaches that he hires or elevates? Again, this is why I ask you about Nick's value. Nick is a good coach. I'm not saying that. But again, I can name you 20 college coaches make more than this guy. And I'm going to be curious to see what they think his value is. Because they've never really valued their coaches and their head. I think that's a poor word. I don't think it's not that they don't value their coaches. They don't pay their guys. I think that's an unfair comment. Like, they do value them. Okay? It's crazy. How great is Nick? Ask the Eagles that. Howie Roseman takes victory laps on the hiring of him. All right. I want to throw this out here. I went back and watched the Super Bowl. Seals, if Nick's gone, who else would the Eagles look at to play his submissive role? I think that's a little over the top. It's not a submissive role. They would never hire a submissive coach at that position. But it would be somebody in the makeup of Doug, Nick, Frank, someone like that. It would be someone in that makeup. And it would be a coordinator from somewhere. It would be somebody that they have a relationship with, that they feel comfortable with. It'd be someone like that. Okay? They're never going to bring in another Kelly from college, and they're never going to hire somebody like Mike Vrabel to come in. That'd be too much for the organization. And by the way, you got to give them credit, too, for this. You know what that is? They don't want to upset anything because it's working. It is working. It is. You know, if it sounds like I'm ripping, I'm not. I'm just saying they have built something in Philly that no matter what it is, can I tell you where I got this from? When we won national championships at the University of Miami, Howard Schnellenberger, Dennis Erickson, and Larry Coker, all three different dudes won national championships at Miami. All three guys. You know what never changed? Many of the assistants and the structure that we had in recruiting and what we did offensively and defensively, they came in and it was plug and play with the coaching staff. The head coach was brought in. There weren't a lot of changes in the staff. You're doing the same shit in Philly we did when we won 5 titles in 15 years. All those coaches were still there. Okay? And then you start changing everything up, firing everybody. That's why Miami has blown for 20 years. Okay? All right. I went back and watched the Super Bowl. And let me ask you something about Jalen Hurts' play this year. How do you think he's done when it comes to the one thing that I thought he wasn't really good at? Seeing internal blitzing. How do you think he's done? I'm curious as hell, Sills, because of the rumors of Philly offering Gannon head coach pay to stay the DC. So what would they pay Nick? I hope they pay Nick around 12. Mike Tomlin money. I hope they pay him around there. So I think he deserves to be doubled. How do you think Jalen has done when it comes to handling blitz pickups and blitz pressure this year compared to last year? Do you think he's done well, or do you think he's been hit more? And do you think because now, again, the volume of passes, the lack of running game, not running game, his running game, tends to probably mean that you're going to see a little bit more hits on Jalen Hurts. Weakest part of his game, RTF. Well, Steve Spagnuolo blitzes a lot. Okay? And he did it in the Super Bowl. And he did it in 21. And he'll do it again. You know why? He plays press coverage. Watch the Super Bowl. His corners play press. So you're going to get the matchup that you guys want to see. It's not that bullshit thing that you play in Philly. They play press. Spagnuolo is a press defensive coordinator. Okay? Now, the wide receivers in the Super Bowl did well. Okay? They did well. But he brings pressure, and he is a guy that likes press. And he's going to blitz. Okay? He's going to bring pressure. Something else I noticed in that Super Bowl. Do you know in the first half, there were 10 designed run plays in the first half that netted 52 yards? There were at least 10 designed plays. Jalen's health. That'll be something to keep an eye on. Whether or not they're going to have design run plays like they did in that Super Bowl. Nick said it today. They watched the Super Bowl. Spagnuolo in the first half pressed, blitzed. Eagles, 10 designed run plays that netted 5 yards a carry. In the first half of that game, got them off to that 10-0 lead. How many of those design plays are they going to? They're not doing that this year. There's not a ton of design run plays. That's not what their idea is. They're not doing that. I think he's done well. He isn't taking off like he used to if his first option wasn't open, so he's getting hit more in the pocket. Again, I don't think there's a lot of run design plays for him this year. That's the one missing element from this offense that's not as fearful as it was a year ago. His offensive numbers clearly have gone up. Okay? No question. But that's because of the volume of – and here, there's only one number that's the most important number. You know what that is? His completion percentage to me. If his volume of passes were going up and his accuracy was going down, you know he's not a passer. But if you're still hanging there, completing 7 of every 10, he's still right there, and he's actually getting better because you know why? More volume usually brings what? The percentages down. Instead, it's hanging in there. Actually growing from a year ago, which is spectacular. I heard Tone say something about Josh Allen. Josh Allen's got 11 picks. Hurts has got 8. But the difference is that Hurts is doing this now. From that beginning to where he is now, those turnovers are coming down as you get to the middle of the season. That's so what you want. This is what you have with Allen. Allen, it's the worst. He has Carson Wentz turnovers. They are at the worst possible times in the game. Okay? He'll do this. 3rd and 7, he'll complete it. Then 2nd and 4, INT. Okay? I would like to think Hurts has gotten a bit better in handling the blitz. I do too. No, I think he has too. Remember, there's a higher volume of passes now. So there's more rushes on the quarterback. All the coaches Hurts has faced in 2023 has been what Spags did to Hurts and tried to rep. That's right. Blitz him. Keep bringing. Hey, I got to tell you guys something. Tom Brady struggled in many games in his career if they couldn't pick up blitzing. And I'm not talking about perimeter blitzing. I'm talking about between the guard and center and internal blitzing. What was the one way? Don't make him get the ability to step into the pocket. Brady, when he put that front foot down in the pocket, it was over. But if you moved him off his point, slid him left, and you brought pressure, you could get to Brady. Okay? The accuracy, right now, in my opinion, is why teams are still a little fearful on bringing too much pressure to Jalen Hurts because, again, one thing you look at with C.J. Stroud's numbers, he's having a great year. 61%. Okay. You know, you want to be around in today's NFL around 66. And you don't want to have a quarterback below that. 61, that's not really the best, which means he's apt to make. Again, he's young. He's new. There's more volume of passes for him. There's not quite the talent he had like the Marvin Harrison Jr.'s when he was at Ohio State. Even though this kid, Nick Collins, is great, he's not Marvin Harrison Jr. And then 18 other guys they have that are going to be first-rounders. So that number's going to be down because of the amount of personnel he has or lack thereof. Brett Favre threw an insane amount of INTs. Josh Allen is Brett Favre. You could see 5 touchdowns and 3 picks in a game with Favre the same way you could see Josh Allen have the same. He is Brett Favre. He'll make sensational plays. 71%. I think he's one of the leaders in the league in completion percentage. But he's going to throw it to you. Same as Favre. What's funny is that Favre will be looked at by Packer fans 20 years from now in a higher light than Rodgers, but Rodgers was the better player. You know what? Hey, what makes Brett Favre so insane? Brett Favre, when he retired, had the most touchdown passes in NFL history. When Brett Favre retired, he also had the most interceptions of anybody in NFL history. I mean, 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl. You learn to live with it. Won 12 games every year up there. Josh Allen's Brett Favre. Hey, by the way, I'm going to make a point to you here in a second, too, about your 8-1 record because we brought the quarterbacks up. You don't really believe you'd be 8-1 in the AFC, do you? I don't. I think you'd be somewhere around 6-3, like everyone else. You're not playing Sam Howell. Oh, and for the record on Sam Howell, Eric Bieniemy needs a job. I'm sold. Congratulations, Eric. You need to be a head football coach. That guy's leading the league in passing yards. He's on pace for 30 TDs. What's the number? What did I write down here? He's on pace for 47-31, 91-5, 29 touchdowns and 15 picks, 66-5. Right now he's got 27-83. You can't tell me that's not a direct result of what Eric Bieniemy is doing with him. Congratulations to you, Eric. Everyone should be ashamed of themselves for not wanting this guy to be promoted more. Everybody in the media needs to be doing their job better. This guy has been held back because of his past and his color. That's a shame. His impact on Sam Howell is insane. If Brett Favre and Carson Wentz had a baby, it would be Josh Allen. I'll take Josh Allen any day. He needs better coaching around him. And that includes the head coach. Hey, I'll tell you what. Quite frankly, I think a little loss of Eric Bieniemy in Kansas City has brought those numbers down a tad bit. It's okay. Again, you know, I love that conversation because, again, you guys have a dual threat guy. Congratulations to you. He's a successful guy. I'm still going to maintain to this day, I don't build my team around that. I'm just not going to build my team around Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. I'm not. I'm not doing that. I want to win Super Bowls from the pocket. And Jalen's attempting that this year. He's attempting it. Actually, he's kind of like trying to change his entire game from dual threat to a pocket guy. Okay? Dude, have at it. We'll see if he lasts the season this year. Hey, I'm praying for him. I don't want him to cover Marcus Mariota. He beat the Chargers would be insane. Eric Bieniemy working with Justin Herbert. Wow. That's a great call, Dirty D. Wow. Eric Bieniemy with Justin Herbert would be absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. Eric Bieniemy to Buffalo would be insane. If I'm the Buffalo Bills, I hire him and I fire McDermott's ass. Hey, you got to get that guy out of D.C. Okay? I think the Commanders are going to name him head coach, and I think he's going to have 3 opportunities to 5 opportunities to be a head coach somewhere. He has done marvelous work with Sam Howell. Sam Howell is the passing leader in the NFL at the halfway mark. That is unbelievable. That is absolutely unbelievable. Hey, you know what? I'm going to do something here. And I know, man, you guys are going to totally hate this, but this would be my take on how if I had a is this one of the topics here? Yeah, I'm going to do that last. I'll do that here in a minute. Okay, let me ask you guys something here. We're 9 games into the season. How many people believe the Eagles are going to get better? Or hey, here, how many people believe that the Eagles haven't played their best ball yet? Steve goes, they'll get better. You think they get better? How many people believe that the Eagles will get better? Okay. What if you look at them and this is who they are? How do you know that this is not who they are? So what you're saying is you think they're going to get better. I'm telling you who you are. This is who you are. Remember at the beginning of the year, you guys kept telling me, well, it's early in the season. It's early in the season. Now you're saying we're going to get better. How do you know this? What gives you that? What gives you that tendency that you're going to get better? What I do believe is going to happen is I think you're going to clean up some things, which will make you better. I don't believe you're going to turn the ball over as much as you did in the first half. Jalen Hurts is nearly identical numbers as Mahomes, 18. Hey, I would say this to you. Okay, then you take Jalen, I'll take Mahomes. I believe they will because of experience. Okay. But you don't really have a lot of experience on defense. Okay. Has identical numbers to Mahomes. Okay, well, we're going to put that to the test Monday night. Are we not? We're going to put that to the test Monday night. And remember something about Mahomes. Before you start comparing Jalen Hurts to Mahomes, win something. Then make that comparison. You could compare Hurts to anybody else in the league, but him, you can't. I'm going to compare. The only thing you can compare to Patrick Mahomes is numbers, because you can't compare accomplishments. There's nothing he's done that's remotely close to that, nor has any other 31 other quarterbacks. Okay? So when you start talking about Mahomes and Hurts, I back up that a little. You can't back it up with anything. He backs it up with Super Bowl trophies, and you back it up with 23 and something. And MVPs. So you want to compare him to everyone else? That's fine. You should. But to him, give me a break. He missed the ring by 3 points. Gee, pretty tough, huh? Yeah, I know. It's always a loser's comment. Yeah, I almost won it. You sound like Cowboy guy. We almost beat the Eagles. We hung right in there. Stats are identical in 2023. Every year is a new year. Hurts has played better as a quarterback. You hear that? He's played better than Mahomes as a quarterback. And he has A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And he has Dick. Once again, you're going to go into the game with the more talented offense. Except the play caller and the quarterback. And the tight end. Same shit you had 9 months ago. Let's see if you close the gap. I don't think you have. Because your defense is worse. But I think the wide receiving core in Kansas City is worse. Once again, I'll ask you here. They're 8-1. Great job. Okay? And I don't think they're going to play any better. But what I do believe, they're going to clean things up. That will make them better. But as playing, you don't have the talent on defense to get better. You don't. Your secondary is not going to get any better. It's wishful thinking. Your linebackers are who they are because follow the money. They're not gifted guys. They're stabilizing guys. And this is who you are. The quarterback is going to, hey, at the end of the day, the quarterback, it's on him to win. This is on Jalen Hurts. Your defense is not as good. So what? We don't have good secondary. So what? Great, elite guys win in spite of, like Mahomes did 9 months ago. They win in spite of a deficiency. That's why people are really raving at this kid, Josh Dobbs, and what he's doing up in Minnesota. There's no Justin Jefferson up there. I mean, the kid Addison's really good. And to see what he's doing by carrying a football team on his back, he just got the playbook 19 minutes ago. And to see him winning games like that is remarkable. I'm rooting for that kid. Okay? Okay? Everything went right for the Chiefs. You were the better team, though, Keon. You had the healthier team. You had the more talented team. You had more Pro Bowlers. How come you didn't beat them? You had the better O-line. You had the better D-line. You had the better corners. How come you didn't beat them? Keon. Hey, Tone, I'm going to keep that between us. Keon, they soaked the field. It's a good one, Keon. Oh, Al Davis trick. They went out there and soaked the field. Okay? Gannon's fun. There you go. Hey, you know what? Hey, Eagle Rock, I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I'm not. You know, he had a dinner date with a real estate agent over in Scottsdale. You know, looking at that $10 million. Hey, man, so like you think he bought that $10 million house just on over the web? Like he looked it up right when he got the job. Him and his wife were like in Philly going, hey, look at this spread. I mean, you would think that if somebody bought something for $10 million, you'd probably been looking at it for a little bit. No? On your dime. You got a Super Bowl this week. Shit, I got a $10 million house I got to buy. Yeah, but what about Andy Reid and Mahomes? Fuck that. I got a $10 million house. Thank you, Eagle fans. I'm sorry. Tone's about ready to go, you mother. Oh, man. Trex, look at this. Are you saying that field was in good shape? I'm saying the Chiefs played on a shitty field, too. Look at this guy. So they must have rolled it out. Here, we want to embarrass this guy here? Yeah, we played on a horrible field. So did the Chiefs. But I guess it didn't stick for them. Oh, by the way, the game just ended. That means the Chiefs just stopped scoring. Oh, man. I think the way the Eagles get better, I think the way that Jalen Hurts has cleaned up his interceptions and turnovers, I think has been instrumental. And you know what he does too that I really like in these big games like the Kansas City game on Monday? I think he knows it's going to be a priority. No turnovers. KC can't have any turnovers either. KC has 2 turnovers versus the Eagles. That could be a rough night for them. Dude, I think it's the run game, turnovers. You know where you've improved the most on your team this year? Your special teams. I don't think you're going to put yourself in a bind in special teams in that game Monday night like you did in the Super Bowl. That game was so close. 2 awful special teams plays cost you field position that potentially could have led to being part of the process and why you lost that game. That's how close it is between you two. We are using the same logic you use to change your opinion each week. Thanks, Prince. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thanks for the $4.99. Whatever that meant. No understanding. Every week, once again. See, what Prince and you guys think when you make a comment on week 3 about the league and teams in the league, you think that holds in week 9. It doesn't. It doesn't. You think if you make a comment in week 2 about the teams in the NFL and about, hey, if we were judging Jalen Hurts in week 2, in week 9, we'd be saying he sucks today, right? Do you really want me to do that? Or the game of the Jets where he had 3 interceptions. Do you want me to hold him to that? Or do you want me to say this? He's gotten better the whole last couple games here. Guys are dumb as rocks sometimes. It's just, but you know what? Get me? Nobody gets me. I don't really care that much when people say they get me. Again, you're overestimating yourselves. So are you saying we lose to KC? Look, yes. Is that you saying Joe Ho? Are you answering for me? Is that what that is? Joe Ho? What? Look at this guy. He goes like this. What Seals eat crow if the Eagles win? Eat crow? If you win that game on Monday, you know what you get? The reigning heavyweight champion is Kansas City. And until you put the championship belt around your waist, you're a bridesmaid. You beat Kansas City Monday? You think that makes you the best team in the league? Or is that midseason Cowboy Award? There ain't no best teams in the league right now. You want to be fair? It's like a pony race. All right? It's great conversation for sports talk. Who's the best team in the league? Really? Wake me up in February. I'll let you know. When that person's handing a particular owner the Lombardi Trophy, I'll let you know then. But in theory, there is no best team. This is a race, and you're in the middle of the race. Now, if you want to say this to me, who's leading the race? I'm there. I'm there. Who's leading the race? Chiefs don't scare me. Well, your secondary doesn't either. Do you know that? What was that thing I saw online that JAKIB put out there? What was the QBR rating? Or no, what was the completion percentage that quarterbacks this year are completing against the Eagles? 78%, something like that. Was that what that was? That James put up there? Like 70-something percent quarterbacks completion percentage this year combined have completed against your team, which means this: almost out of every 10 passes, 8 passes are being completed against you, which means you're losing first down. Think about that. It's some number like in the mid-70s or like high 70s. I forget what that number was. But quarterbacks, and you really haven't played anybody but Dak. I mean, Sam Howell, he may turn out to be the next Joe Theismann, but we'll see. Okay? We'll see. We shall. All right. Tone will join us at the bottom of the hour. Got a big ball game tonight. Oh, yes. Don't forget, our good friends at Hooters are giving you an opportunity to win yourself some gift certificates. All you have to do is put down that code word that Tone will be putting out through the entire program. I love that. He gets me every week. This guy's, he gets me every week. Paper Champ 81. Very good. Okay. So if you do that and then you send us an email at dansileo@gmail.com, you will get an opportunity to win yourself some gift certificates, and you may hear your name called on Monday. And that's when we announce our winners. We run the program from Tuesday through Friday. Throughout the show, you hear your name called on a football Monday, and you may win yourself some great opportunities at winning yourself some merchandise and also some chances at some gift certificates. Happy Wingsgiving from Hooters as well during this month. You get an opportunity to understand the specials that we have throughout the entire month. The Hooter Girls want you to know that it's been such a Grand Slam year for everyone, from Rhode Island all the way through Jersey, down through King of Prussia, putting a special on each and every single day. Ice Cold Coors Light drafts, $2.99, 25 cents on every purchase. Goes to local charities, northeasthooters.com. Check out some of the specials. Seafood Sunday, half price. I mean, you'll love it. Try the buffalo shrimp. I love it. Military Monday. You love that. That's 20% off to our great men and women who have served our country. Northeasthooters.com. That's northeasthooters.com. And when you roll in, do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.